Yo, 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 what is up? This is Back with No Border Sports, and I've got my guest Karkast with us. What up, Karkast?
What's up, no border, man? It's a pleasure to be on your show. Thanks for having me. How you doing today?
Yeah, no problem. Well, it'd be better if there wasn't
Yeah,
a whole bunch of crap going on in the news,
for
49ers
sure.
wise.
Looks like. Oh, there we
Holy
go.
moly. What? You might lose? Is that lose?
Use or lose? I don't know,
What up,
man.
Cam?
What's up, man?
Yeah, right. Hey, Kim, we're gonna open it up at the end to Collins, so be sure to stick by. But Carcast, you wanted to bring up people we tendered. We tendered Brunskill, Juwan Jennings. Is there anybody else I'm missing?
No. For now, that's how I've seen so far. I think it's Jawan Jennings and Daniel Brunskill for now. I thought these were great tenders. Jawan Jennings is gonna really help us out in the future as a big guy in the slot. You know, for a big guy, he runs routes really smooth, so he's gonna be really good. A really good number 3 wide receiver. I think he's really underrated. So I thought this was a
Juwan
good move by the. I really
Juwan
like Jawan
Jennings.
Jennings.
He was the year he got drafted, he was drafted 7th round. And
Yeah.
he was my Hufunga of last draft. Like
Mm.
this last
Yeah.
draft, Hufunga was my man. Jawan
Yeah.
Jennings was my other. Like he didn't get put on the squad, and he got moved to the practice squad. And I was like, oh man, you know what I mean? Oh, also last season and this next season,
Yeah.
Alfredo Gutierrez, that's my homie,
Mm-hmm.
left tackle. He's trying to learn from Trent Williams. I hope this guy makes it. Hispanic gentleman. Jeez, he is a god awful big man.
He is. Yeah.
He's like
I've seen him.
6'8".
Yeah.
He's just a huge guy.
He's gonna be a bulldozer when he gets on that field, man.
Yeah, hold on one second. I want to. Yes, this is very tragic. I mean,
Yeah,
like first
man.
thing, it's a game, people, and racial slurs. That's just not cool whatsoever. Anytime. So, yeah, and death threats are just even worse. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. That's the same crap they did to Raheem Mostert. And you know what? I think that could be a thing. It might have been the fans that did this. But we'll get into that a little bit. Yeah, it says it doesn't affect him, but let me tell you what, you know what I mean? Like
That's just messed up, man.
I don't get offended when people there's been times where people have said certain kind of racial slurs towards me, but it's not like they have the effect or the power on me that other words that people like me that look like me, sorry, not like me, but look like me,
No.
it
Yeah.
used for hundreds of years. It's got a little more sting behind it. You know what I mean? So I'm sure Deebo can look past all that and just think, you're ignorant. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And, like the N word, the definition of it is ignorance, right? So to call a black person the N word, just because they're black, that essentially makes you ignorant.
Yeah. Oh, for
just
sure. Yeah, you're completely correct. Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
So you know what I mean. It's tragic on all ends. Like that. Like, come on, it's a sport.
It's 2022
really?
and we still have racial slurs going around. Like, it's
Well, and
unacceptable, man.
the death threats to a young father. You know what I mean. You got to understand also, like when you have sure, Carcast, you'll grow up one day and have a beautiful litter of kids. You know what I mean, and they'll be running around and you'll love them all. And I'll tell you, when that first one comes out, you are terrified because it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much,
And Deebo
essentially.
just had a new baby as well. This is how we
Well, I'm
repay
saying,
the favor.
so if you're talking about somebody death threats to him, think about that. Like as a father, I wasn't scared of dying. I was scared of something happening to my daughter. You
No,
know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be the problem that causes something to essentially happen, like I don't care if someone kills me, but if they kill my daughter in the process, like, and I survive, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I couldn't live like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to live without my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, she's amazing. You know what I mean?
She's the
And
love
I'm
of
sure
your life. Yeah.
I'm sure he feels the same way. You know what I mean? If he's, a good person, any good person has a kid is going to feel that way about their kid. You know what I mean? There's pieces of crap out there that care, but you know what I mean? Any normal person, you're going to go up and beyond for your child. It's natural. There's something I heard Joe Rogan talk about it once. There's It's actually a chemical that gets produced in people's bodies when their
Ooh,
kids are crying, essentially, that stops them from like wigging out and freaking out because like it's like a natural response, from a
okay.
baby. And so it's like your bodies are conditioned to be okay with that, so you don't do anything to your
Yeah.
child. It's weird. Bodies. Anyway, uh, so let's move on past that. I love Jawan Jennings.
He's
Brunskill,
great. The way he produced in 2020 was just off the
dude.
charts, man.
Remember how he got that first down? He was like 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
I
He
saw that
had to get the first down. They
in the
came up
Rams
and
game.
grabbed the ball, and he's pulling I believe two Rams past the line of scrimmage who are holding onto the ball, and the ball's
For
behind the
sure.
line of scrimmage for 3 yards. He's yanking them as they're holding on to the ball, getting the first. Man, if there's somebody to get in a fight with in a dark alley, it'd be somebody like him because he doesn't give up for shit.
He's
You know what
kind
I'm
of one
saying?
of those off the radar kind of guys, but his
Yeah.
size is really underrated to me because people don't talk about it too much. But that man looks like Deebo on the field when he catches the ball, man. Like he fights for every yard and he plays like his life is on the line on every single down. So
He reminds me kind of like a little bit like Sam Smith Senior.
yeah,
I always wish he was on the team. I loved how he just attacked things all the time. Really appreciate that, man. God, he would have been great in the gold in the gold and crimson, man. He would
yeah,
have been nasty out there. Like imagine him, in his heyday out there with this offense right now, running the ball and him blocking and being all
yeah.
aggressive, and then all of a sudden, we go downfield with Trey Lance and him, you know what I mean? And he's just,
Mhm.
I told you couldn't cover me. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm guessing there's nothing worse to happen to a cornerback than to just be totally shut down by a wide receiver, blocked up left and right, and then turn around and get burnt by him for a
For
touchdown.
sure.
What's your thought on Brunskill?
I like Brunskill, man, but he only does good against one of the best in Aaron Donald, and the others he kind of struggles, and we've seen that before, right, for the past few years. So I mean,
Would you
he's
say
good. He's a good depth
all
piece, but I feel like Aaron Banks is going to take over that right guard. So he's a good depth piece if he's not going to be the starter, and Aaron Banks is going to come in and suit up for the right guard position in 2022. So I feel like it's a good tender. Good job by the Niners. I do like Brunskill. I think he's very underrated, and I think he holds up very well on the right guard spot. But we'll see if he's going to be the starter next season or if it's going to be Aaron Banks. So
What up, Swan Song?
what's the man?
So also, with Mac talking about he doesn't know whether he's retired or not. I
Yeah,
mean, what a jerk move to be this late in the season and not have an idea what you're doing. I'm sorry. It's a no then. Do you understand that? If it's taking this long, it's a no, bro.
yeah.
He could be maybe trying to hold on to it till later.
Mm. Brunskill's
This
yeah. Like I
this
said,
is
he might be a depth piece. So
well, he also might be a starter if
we'll
things
see. Yeah,
go
that's
weird
the thing.
with, you know what I mean? Because
Mm.
how was I was talking with somebody, I don't know if it was Swan or Sunil or somebody, but we were talking about, you know what, we should just pop this invite in here, see if anybody
Yeah,
wants to get in here. But no, I was saying, do you move up in the draft is to get a center if
that's. Mm.
it,
That's what I'm saying because I've been on the train saying we should trade up for Jalen Petrie, and I've been that all year, man. I think we have the assets to do it, but now that Alex Mack is undecided that if he's going to retire or not, because I've heard reports that he's not going to retire and that he's going to play one more year, but now we're hearing he's still undecided. So I feel
I
like
think go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah, I'm just saying I feel like we're going to draft a center, man. I think Cole Strange from Tennessee. I don't know if you've really done much research on him, but he moves really well. I think he could fill in for Alex Mack when he does retire. We'll see. It's still undecided by Mack, but I feel like this guy Cole Strange could fall to us. And Alex Lindebaum from Illinois. We've got a lot of good centers. We could trade up. We could be really flexible in the draft, or they could fall to us at 61. But I think pick 61 needs to be a center right now. Interior offensive line. So
Gotcha. See, I know that Tyler, or is it Tyler Lindenbaum?
yeah, from is
Yeah,
it Iowa?
that
Or,
guy.
I think it's from Iowa.
If we could
Iowa.
find a way to get him, I think he might be able to be a first year starter.
I like him. Yeah.
Like like I see the 49ers wanting to go after somebody like Donovan West because he kind of totally fits the scheme. The only problem is I don't think he's got his NFL body, and he's going to get pushed around. You know what I mean? And you know, you don't want to spend all that draft capital on somebody who's going to get pushed around. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
And it's better to spend more draft capital to get somebody who's right. Bring some Kim on. What up, man?
Not too bad. My camera's acting kind of funky, so I don't know what I could do on that.
Yeah. So, what's your feeling on this Deebo issue?
We have to thank Trent Baalke for this, since he gave Christian Kirk $18 million. Not that we can blame Christian Kirk for taking the $18 million. I think we all would take that. But I mean, to me, it seems like our front office is always reactive instead of trying to be a little bit more proactive. I mean, Deebo did carry us last season, and he deserves to be compensated for it.
What up, Swan? Oh,
what's up?
No, what up, man?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Kartik?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. About to have dinner at a buddy's house. I got about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
You know what we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the Deebo?
Oh man, it's a mess, dude. Like I know it's still early, and optimistically I'm just hoping that there's a way out of this, and that, you know, that it's just negotiation and like it's gotten ugly, but there's still a chance that I think Deebo doesn't get traded. I mean, I don't think it's a done deal that he gets traded.
Really?
But I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets traded either at this point. I would say, I don't know. I would say 50-50 still.
Okay.
So I don't get, like, he said that he doesn't want to be used in the way they're going to use him. Well, I don't think he's going to be used as the wide back, you know, like type role. I mean,
Jimmy's still on the team, so we really don't know yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why he's not going to the practices. He's not going to practices for the reason.
Yeah, and I think it might be more complicated than that. Like the language that you're hearing that, okay, Deebo doesn't want to be used as a wide back, right? Like the Rappaport, Deebo actually liked it, right? That the part where Rappaport says it's not just about money, it's usage, right? But we don't know if Deebo's doing that to be, it could be really twisted. You understand? Like it could be just a way for him to divert attention to, hey, I'm this greedy guy and just want money, and that's all about money. You know what I mean? So it might be just a strategic way of him just to kind of like deflect the conversation, right? And meanwhile, it's true. I mean, I don't see it where Deebo's going to be like, yeah, dude, we're going to hand you the ball, and he's going to say no. I don't think that's in his. I think when you start playing, you want to win. When you get on the field, you know, I thought about this. Steve Young had this perfect Hall of Fame speech. In part of the speech, he says, I have never known a football player that at the time of when they're on the field, at the moment of truth, that they're doing it for money. You know what I'm saying? Like at the moment of truth, when the instincts are there, they're not thinking about money. They're thinking about being an athlete, dominating, winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I think, but at the same time, I'm sure Deebo has a concern, obviously, as anyone else would be, even if we sign Deebo, right? That, dude, you cannot keep on using him the way he is, or you're going to break him. Like, you will literally break him. You have a player.
It's an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got injury history.
Not just that, but they don't want to pay a running back that price. So why are you going to take a wide receiver that you gave the bag and then stuff back there? I don't think there's any way they use him the same way. You know what I mean? I see them going 2-3 times in the draft, need be, to try and get a running back that'll fit their scheme rather than try and put him back there again because there's no sense in it.
Yeah, like I could see them still using it like here and there, but not 59 times.
This is going to be less of a 49ers running team. They're going to throw the ball down the field and spread the offense and not play on a miniature golf field like Jimmy does. So obviously, Deebo Samuel's going to get more opportunities to be on the field and make big plays.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In the backfield, maybe like once every 5 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And another thing too is, hey, we were in a situation where I think the reason why we had to use Deebo in the way that we did was, at least from looking at the season point of view, is that, dude, the offensive line wasn't getting a lot of movement. And the reason why the offensive line wasn't getting a lot of movement for what they were being challenged with is because everyone is sneaking their team up. Dude, like there's how many points in the season could you see the entire defense on the broadcast screen? Like, you don't see that often, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, watch any other team play, and then you watch the Niners, and you see the defense of the opposing team. They're all on the same page, on the same broadcast team. You guys ever get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you
when you
see
see all the DBs, when you can see all the DBs in the one shot, that's an issue.
Yeah. So then, so they had to do something about it. They had to go, well, we got to generate yards, right? So they ran the crap out of Mitchell, and then they used Deebo here and there, right? Like, they had to do that.
Well, Mitchell was like half and half injured for a reasonable part of that season. So Deebo had to step in and, rush the ball plenty of times.
And then so they have a season. So with Trey Lance, we're hoping that, one, the defense doesn't get to cheat up like that. And if they do, they're going to freaking pay for it, right? Because that's what we want. I mean, props to Shanahan for navigating through what the defense, because that was shown to us in week 3, right, against Green Bay. It's like, dude, we were supposed to run against this team. We were supposed to pass this team. We're doing neither, right? And then remember George Kittle came in. He's like, hey, I don't know what it is, but Kyle and Mike, I trust them. They got to figure this out, right? And then, well, props to them. They figured it out. But with Lance, we're hoping that teams are not be able to cheat like that. And plus, I believe that the Niners will draft perhaps a bruiser type of running back, like that one guy when they showed that Zamir White kid from Alabama. Man, that guy looks like he would be a perfect fit.
They also hosted a running back from the draft. His name was Jerome Ford. He's big. He has good size. So, they could draft him. So, I agree with you. Maybe they could draft a very reliable running back in the later rounds. And you know how Niners hit on those running backs. They become stars when they're with the Niners. So, we'll see what they do, man. I completely agree with you. I think Deebo's going to have lesser opportunities in the backfield. I think he'll have more opportunities going down the field. And, having more of that Cooper Kupp kind of role, because everyone says Deebo Samuel, this and that he's not the pure all-around wide receiver you want, like Cooper Kupp or other wide receivers, right? Because it's a Jimmy G, man. Like, he's forced to play in the backfield, man. And if you put him in the Trey Lance offense, he's going to look exactly like Cooper Kupp, and that's what people don't realize. They don't think Deebo Samuel is that all-around pure wide receiver that you want. But in the Trey Lance offense, this guy's going to shine. He's going to spread his colors, and you'll see what he can do, man, going down the field and making plays. He's not only a running back, man. He can go down just like any wide receiver and run any routes that any wide receiver can do. So,
yeah, and the thing about it too is that he'll get even more attention than Cooper Kupp, just because Cooper Kupp is not known to be like. I mean, I know Cooper Kupp gets his yak, but with Deebo, it's different, right? Because it's like, it's like he might not get the same separation in the way that Cooper Kupp gets it, but he gets it in a way where he catches the ball, and if you're not lined squared up on him, good luck tackling him. Good luck tackling him if you're not squaring him up. And even squaring him up, he's not a guarantee.
That's the thing. That yak could also turn into injuries. God forbid it doesn't, but I agree with you, man. Deebo Samuel's yak comes in a different way than Cooper Kupp. So, and even if Deebo Samuel does not make separation, he's physical, and that physicality can get away from defenders at times. And I think Deebo Samuel does run his routes very smooth. I don't know if you saw in his rookie year, but his routes were silky smooth, and he showed some sparks, man. He showed some real sparks in the slot on the outside. So
Yeah,
I
and
feel like
and
he
that's
could bring that juice in the Trey Lance offense. So
and I think like it might not, like everyone criticizes him about his footwork or whatever, right? I'm not a wide receiver specialist, but another way to get separation too is explosion, and
I
he
mean, yeah,
definitely has that. He definitely
yes,
has explosion, you know.
for a 215 wide receiver, that man has speed, man.
Yeah,
Well, and
there's
see,
a video.
that's why he's so deadly, because he makes you match his pace, because you can't get too far ahead, you can't get too far behind, right? So once you get the pace matched up, then he hits the burst, and you can't accelerate at the same time as him,
Yeah,
nor accelerate as fast as
and
him.
you can't. Yeah, and even if you
Yeah,
get a hand on him, you're not going to tackle him with a hand.
that's the
You
other
know
thing.
what I
That's why
mean?
so many corners play
You
so
have to
off. They
you
play
have
so
to
much
put
zone.
3 people on him to get him down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You have to get a really good tackle to single tackle him. I mean, somebody's got to grab his legs and somebody's got to grab his torso and bring him to the ground.
dude, I
That's what you
saw.
have to do with these big wide receivers like DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel. You have to go for the legs. There's no way you're beating them upper body. There's absolutely no way now.
I saw a
Yep.
workout video of Deebo in 2020, and it has a bunch of guys. It's the guy that does footwork back east. I can't remember what they call it. That you can probably YouTube and find it. But he a bunch of people were there at the camp. Odell, Deebo, a bunch of guys, right? And dude, the way how explosive Deebo looked, it was crazy, dude. It was like crazy because they have the camera like at like at a ground level. It's crazy. That
No,
you
for
guys should
sure.
check it out.
Debo's got the thighs of a linebacker. You know what I mean? Like, guys,
Man, he can play tight end. He's got bigger thighs than George Kittle.
But yeah,
well,
the thing is,
you got to understand George Kittle's taller, so the muscles actually stretched out over a longer period or a longer place. So it's even though it's smaller, it's probably more muscle in Kittle's legs, obviously, because he could block defensive ends.
I mean, I understand from both sides. I understand from the Niners' point of view. Like, we can't just sign a blank check, right? Like, and I mean, Debo's got to do what Debo's got to do, right? And that's why it's just a kind of a shitty situation. It's like I ping back and forth to whatever situation I see. Like, how is this going to work? Like, I just know that if we lose him in a trade, the Niners better get more than a first round draft pick, dude. That's all I know.
Yes. I like I'm a firm believer of 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and I want a first and a second this year. And if I can get 2 firsts this year, I'm trying for that too. I might go 2 firsts, a second, and a third for that. You know what I mean? But other than that,
Yeah.
no.
My perspective on it is that I just feel like Niner fans have to get ready, man. Things are getting spicy. Things are getting heated up around the 49ers organization. And his brother came out too, Taekwon, and he said Dallas wants Deebo. And dude, this thing is getting heated. This thing is getting heated up, man.
You know why Dallas wants Deebo? Because their owner made a statement one time, and it goes like this: "My hands don't get cramps writing big checks." Okay, you know what that means? That means he's not scared to write a big check. That ain't the problem. He just needs to make sure it's worth it first. But then once he's figured that out, bro, the money can come. You can have that. You can have that all right now. It's in the bank.
I wonder how many teams are using Deebo or going to use Deebo as a smokescreen for what they plan to do in the draft. That's another thing too, right?
That's very interesting.
You know what I mean? Because like Green Bay going out and saying, "Yeah, we want Deebo." Like, come on! Like, the Niners are not stupid enough to give the Green Bay Packers Deebo Samuel. Like, who's stupid enough to do that? Like, in your own conference, someone that you're going to meet. Like, it's hard enough to give Deebo to a contender, even in the AFC, because at the end of the day, it's not about winning in the NFC. It's about winning the Super Bowl. And if you gave Deebo to a contending team in the AFC, then that kills your chances or that hinders your chance of winning a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. That's why, like if you want to trade him to Green Bay, you got to make it so they can't draft anybody else in the draft. You know what I'm saying? You got to take the whole fucking draft class.
Yeah.
This is the only way I see it happening. You know what I mean? Because you can't. It's
Yeah,
like
you can't do it.
it's some Charles Haley shit all over again. Excuse my language. Sorry, car.
You
Nah, man, you're
did,
good.
yeah. You drive Deebo to the Packers, and that's like saying, okay, we don't want to win the Super Bowl for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Or
Why'd
something
you
like
Deebo's
that.
a one-on-one match, man. He's a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Why would you trade last year if you're going to just trade Deebo to Green Bay this year? You know what I mean? Oh, that's just a way to make
You're
the
just
team
reducing Trey Lance's confidence at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you want your 21-year-old future franchise quarterback, like, to not succeed in the NFL? Like, what is that BS?
Look, they need to trade Parag, not Deebo. Okay, if this asshole is
Blame you.
pissing everybody off, Brandon Ayuk labeled him GameStop because okay, and to me, I was like, oh, that's amazing. I remember going into GameStop one time. I had all these games. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give me. They're trying to give me like $5, and I'm like, nah, screw you, nah, no, I'll keep
Yeah,
these games. I'll go buy full price at another store.
Yeah, and then another thing, that's the word's gonna get out on that too, right? If it's not out already. Like, oh yeah, you
This
might go
word is out now.
Yeah, you might go out to resurrect your career on the Niners and get paid somewhere else, but good luck getting paid there. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
I don't mind somebody who's smart with the money. But I think the issue was like the slap in the face from the beginning. I'm sure they've brought over a couple offers. You know what I mean? I'm sure there was a couple offers before he's like, nah, man. Because I'm sure he wasn't jacking up the price enough. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you come down in the middle?
Right.
He was probably just like $5 more. And, Deebo's dropping off $1 million, and saying, okay, well, take $1 million less,
And then another, we
You
don't
know?
have enough information, right? But if we're going by Parag's reputation, right, because that's all of what we can get, is that you have to treat just because it worked with Fred Warner, just because it worked with
Kittle.
Kittle, doesn't mean it's going to work with Deebo. Not saying about anything about the player, but just the personality, because you don't know how people are going to react to low ball offers. Someone might be like, okay, it's business. Someone might be like, okay, we'll fight back on that. And someone might be like Deebo and go, dude, you disrespected me. And dude, that's you're like, especially, remember, I went on some shows a couple weeks ago and I said, if the worst thing the Niners could do is to hold what Deebo did at running back against him. Like, that would be the worst slap in the face, is if you use that against them. And if they did do that, dude, if I was Deebo, I'd be like, F you guys, bro.
Right? Because he poured his heart and soul out last year. Like, he looked like he would have to go home in crutches or in a wheelchair after some of those games late in the season. You know what I mean? And for a guy to not be selfish at all, like, an Antonio Brown or something like that, he didn't do any of that. And if they gave him a real slap in the face and they're like 16 mil, you know what I mean? Like, that's.
Yeah, or not even a price, but saying, okay, this is how we see it. At your running back production, you did this. So we'll give you X amount of money for this. At wide receiver, you did this. So we'll give you X amount of money for this. When it should be like, hey, you pay me as a wide receiver, you pay me for this production because I'm labeled a wide receiver, and we go from there. If they try to do it any other way else, I think that's shameless to me.
So,
and like, some people are affected by that a different way.
So Tiger, do you just go by Tiger? Should I GNT?
This is just a username I use all over.
TI double gut.
Honestly, anything's fine.
You know what I was saying? TI double gut.
Anything.
That's from Winnie the Pooh. I'm Tigger. T. Dot. T.
No, okay. Definitely not that. Definitely. Not that.
A quick question: who do you guys think is going to get paid first, Deebo Samuel or AJ Brown? They both have the same agent, so same camp, and DK Metcalf included.
Deebo.
I think it's Deebo. The reason why I think it's Deebo is because those players want to piggyback off of Deebo, and their agent wants Deebo to sign it first, right? Because those other guys, I don't think can command the same type of money,
No.
right? So
Yeah,
if
but
they start smaller, it behooves the agency and the two other wide receivers that Deebo goes first because, right? Like if Deebo goes first, he sets a precedence there for those other two. But if those other two go first and they get a lower amount of money, that sets a precedence for Deebo.
I got a question. No. Here's the question. After those racial slurs and death threats he got, like, do you honestly think he's really gonna stay even after he's gonna get like money? Just like think about it.
Oh,
I think you can get racial slurs no matter where you go. This
yeah,
country,
and death threats.
Yeah, but like still.
you know what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like
I think a lot of these celebrities, when they do something, they get death threats.
also you also have to look at the other side. It's not always about football. These football players have life outside of football. They have families to take care of. They have kids to take care of.
That too.
Like that's why so many people get blocked on Twitter. Grant Cohn got blocked on Twitter because of this Deebo Samuel thing. Deebo Samuel tweeted that, dude, not everything's about the 49ers. There's stuff on the outside that people have to look into as well. So Deebo, it just might be posturing, man. I hope it is because there's life outside of football. It's not always about football. It's not always about the 49ers. So we need to stop assuming because there's life outside of football and Deebo has his own stuff to take care of. So it's not always about the 49ers.
That is totally true. Which Tiger, you are a Seahawks fan, I hear.
Oh yeah, yeah, but no hate on the 49ers.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm not tripping. I actually kind of maybe we can take a little side break here, talk about some DK
Sure.
Metcalf. I thought that DK might have been traded after Russell Wilson got traded, but
I mean,
I guess
if you saw his thing on Instagram, he said, in quote, "It's basically my time to step up at this point." So
no, I get that, but like what I'm talking about is like, okay, you're the Seahawks. You are probably going to go and try and find yourself a franchise quarterback next year in the draft, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I would agree, but like we recently resigned Geno Smith, so as a backup quarterback, a main quarterback is
Right.
So
Yes.
I mean, as of right now, we should be good, but like in the future, there might be a 50-50 on our franchise quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like,
Sports kid.
I don't know. Yeah, what up, sports kid? I don't know if I'd keep DK around for all that. I think I would try and off him, especially when you got a
Seattle and the Seattle fan base really thinks Drew Lock is their future. Yeah, I'm not doubting it, man. We'll see. I actually think highly of Drew Lock.
If you think about it, on the wide receiver side, Metcalf is the strongest guy we got. So like,
no.
Metcalf also said on IG, stop the slander on Drew Lock. So we'll see if he's a starter for the Seahawks in 2022.
I'm sure he's going to be the starter.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I'm sure, and the reason why is no matter if he's good or he's bad, it's good. You know what I mean? Because if he's bad, well, you got a higher pick next year. You know what I mean?
No, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So it's whether it's good or it's bad. It's good.
You think about it, the Eagles. I mean, I said it during the offseason. I go like when the season ended that any team that needs a quarterback should start loading up for the draft capital for 23 now. And the Eagles already did that, right? Like they traded one of their threes for next year, so they can have the capital even if they get a decent record this year, they have enough draft capital where they can move up if they need to, right? Because they'll have 3 number ones next year again or something like that.
I think we're gonna see some crazy movement next year for draft picks. You know what I mean? People are gonna be swapping.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
No
and
doubt.
Might
it's be like last year, kind of, but not as crazy.
No, this year's draft will be a lot more crazy than last year for sure.
Because this is what you're talking.
You think so?
I mean, I can't be 100% correct.
No, the reason why I say I don't think so is because I think there's going to be less movement during draft day, and the reason why I say that is because there's no quarterbacks in this draft that are considered franchise, like, hey, like last draft there was 5, right?
You're right.
There was 5 QBs. I don't think this QB draft is seen like that. And people go crazy to get a franchise QB. They'll trade whatever, right? Look, I mean, case in
That's what I'm
point.
saying. Next year's you might see it go for Keith's ransom because all the teams that are looking for ones are probably going to be the ones that are closest to the ones they want. So other people are trying to move it around, you know what I mean, to get somebody that they want against somebody.
I would agree with Juan here, because obviously this year's draft has good core position players. You know, good wide receivers, good speed wide receivers, and good defensive lineman depth. But if you look at last year's draft, you've got guys like Trevor Lawrence, you know, who's had some hardships his rookie year, but
at that time.
First round pick. You've got Trey Lance, you got Mac Jones, who fell. So that draft was crazy. It was unexpected. We didn't know the Niners were going to trade up. And, you know, like you said, 5 future franchise quarterbacks. Quarterback is the most important position. And having that many, and, you know, having that many trade swaps, trading up, trading down, it's just crazy. And if these guys become big in the future and are franchise quarterbacks for the respective teams, we're going to look back on on last year's draft and be like, that draft was crazy, because if they hadn't made that pick, you know, any organization could have gone the wrong way.
If Trey Lance hits, it doesn't matter what we gave for him, right? Like it doesn't, like, you don't even think about that number. But so the thing is, I think next year it's going to be kind of crazy, and I'm going to leave. I have to leave right now. But the last thing I wanted to make was, I would not be surprised if quarterbacks go lower this, like what they're being projected at, because they're showing still 3 or 4 quarterbacks projected in the first round, right? It would not surprise me if it's only just one. Like I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Oh, I think there's at least 2. At least 2 they're definitely coming out in the top 20.
Oh, definitely.
Top 20, okay.
All right. So there you guys. It was good talking to you. I'll follow you guys. I mean, I'll listen on my phone, but I gotta take off for dinner.
Peace out, man. Appreciate
it. Later, man.
You got Desmond Ridder, you got Malik Willis, so those could really be first round prospects in my opinion. So we'll see, man. We'll really see. And you never know. Maybe the Niners, you know, they trade up. We don't know. You never know, man.
Now I got a question.
So,
So, if say Deebo Deebo does end up getting traded, like, who do you think? Like, what team do you think he'll get traded off to next? In your opinion?
Oh, this is what I was literally about to say. Thank you. That was a good question. So I was talking about this team. This is honestly probably what I'd like to say, like a big sleeper team. But we've been hearing a lot of I want to say like Jets are one of them, Packers, but they're like in conference. I think the Patriots are really sliding under the radar.
They need a wide receiver. They're in need of a wide receiver.
Yeah, so I have a lot of reasons. One, Deebo, I think part of the reason could be he might want to go back East Coast. That's a little opinion I might have, because as I said, or as people are saying, that he might, you know, he might not want to be in the state of California where there's taxes are very, very high. He might want to go to the East Coast. But also, if you remember, Kendrick Bourne went to New England, and he is very, very close with Kendrick Bourne. Like, very, very close. And also, the Patriots need him. Their receiving core this year was
horrible. What did they have? Demir Burr, Jacoby Myers. That's like their number one.
Yeah. But like
Compton.
Yeah. Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers are not number one receivers in almost any other I don't want to say like
if the Patriots draft an O-line and have a guy like Mac Jones under center, and then you have Deebo Samuel to go
that's exactly what Swan said. That is the only problem that is the absolute only problem with the Patriots is that they don't pay. Only problem.
Hey, we'll see, man. Bold prediction: DK Metcalf to the New England Patriots. We'll see.
I mean, I think
I'm not opting it out, man. We'll see.
Seattle's pretty close to like extending Metcalf's contract. I think I'm just gonna take a wide shot. Like, he's probably gonna get extended for another year to 2 years, and then I don't know like what's gonna happen to him. So even if for a year, that would be great because he's one of our top wide receivers. Can't argue that.
Oh, I think he'll be a good 4 or 5 year contract. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
There's
I hope
there's no reason you go to the table with him now
exactly.
and just for a year or 2 years and not try to lock him down for 4 or 5 because like it's just going to make you pay more later. You know what I mean? And if you do come up, the only thing you should have is just like opt out years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's the only thing you should do is to be able to have years that you can just X off and just let him go do his thing and find his own.
If they could extend his contract to like 4 to 5, even 6, like that would be great. Like that would be pretty. That would be great.
You guys got Lockett too, so.
Oh, that
you
got
find your place for Lockett though. Lockett has been very lucky. Lockett he's a.
The thing about Seattle is like I feel like Russell Wilson used to pick what wide receiver he wanted to throw to each week because it's weird because like 1 week like it would be DK Metcalf's game and then the next week it would be Tyler Lockett's, and I feel like one wide receiver would just over another wide receiver each week. So I feel like with Seattle, I feel like they should be more consistent using their wide receivers because I don't know if it's just me, but when Russell Wilson was there, I feel like he used to pick. I feel like he used to pre-plan what wide receiver he wanted to throw to because it's weird. Tyler Lockett used to have a great week. DK Metcalf didn't. The next week, DK Metcalf blew up. So it's weird, man. I feel like they just have to stay consistent with the wide receivers. So.
That I never noticed, but like for the duo part, I think like Metcalf and Wilson made a better duo than Wilson and Lockett. I'm gonna be honest. Like they made a much better duo.
I feel like Lockett and Wilson's connection is just off the charts, man. Like they're like on the same page at the right time.
It's almost as good as Baldwin. Him and Baldwin.
Yeah.
Baldwin.
I'm surprised that Pete Carroll actually let like Russell Wilson go, because like even himself, he waived his no trade clause. So I'm guessing like he wanted this trade. Like I don't understand why. Like he would have done great in Seattle right now.
I mean, I had a feeling Russell Wilson was going to get traded because that O-line in Seattle, no offense, that O-line is shitty, man. I'm sorry, but like
we have a decent O-line.
He got sacked 50 times in 2020.
Tiger, it's not an all right offensive line.
Well, I mean, hey, there's worse offensive O-lines out there. You can't.
Why was Russ having to be in a kitchen? You know what I'm saying? Let Russ cook thing. That's your quarterback shouldn't have to be running around. Having eyes behind the back of his head because your offensive line can't keep the defensive line at bay.
I mean, obviously Russell Wilson should run. He should use his legs, right? He's a mobile quarterback. But getting out of the pocket, trying to duck defenders every single down is going to wear out your quarterback. And it's going to wear down your offensive line even more.
Well, what do you think? Hey, Ryan, what do you think the first priority of Bill Belichick was when he had Tom Brady? Keep Tom Brady upright.
But he couldn't do that, though.
Well, no, they kept Tom Brady upright for the most part.
Well, until
what I mean?
He got played to the box, obviously.
Well,
because if you saw that one clip, when Brady made the call to Bill Belichick, told him that he won a Super Bowl. That's the 1 year the Patriots went from like good to like absolute trash.
Yeah, but they always had a good offensive line. Essentially, there might be hiccups, but they were consistently having a good offensive line because they wanted Brady to be able to make these game time decisions. You know what I mean, and have what he needs to be able to make the right decisions. And Russell Wilson, how to put this? Okay, he's a very smart man, right? You want all his brain power working on what's coverage is this? What's going to happen when when Lockett crosses the field? You know what I mean? Figuring out where everybody's at. You don't want him having to figure out where the DBs and the D line is. I mean, it's he's got a timer in the back of his head now. You know what I mean? He has to take a look, or he has to change a certain way to keep things open. It's not a good look. Let's switch back off of this.
No, for sure, man. I agree. I feel like, can we talk about the Patriots a little bit? Like, do you guys think they're at least wild card or divisional bound next year?
I'd say
They
yeah.
got to go up against Josh Allen for the next 10
They
seasons.
beat Josh Allen in Buffalo. I mean, okay. Mac Jones threw 3 passes, and Damian Harris carried that game. But, Buffalo beat them next time. So I feel like, dude, obviously Buffalo is the better all-around team. But I feel like Patriots could be at least playoff bound because they got a coach like Bill Belichick. And obviously Mac Jones is obviously going to have his hardships as a rookie, which we did see last year, right? But he's obviously going to progress like Trey Lance is. That's every rookie quarterback. Every rookie quarterback goes through that. You've seen Josh Allen go through that. You've seen Patrick Mahomes go through that. You can pick out of the hat. So obviously, I feel like they're playoff bound, man. They've got a great supporting cast. Good defense, They did obviously Stephon Gilmore. They did bring back Malcolm Butler. And I always thought they had a good defense. And I feel like their offense is getting to the point where they could at least score 20 to 25 points, man. And if they at least, maybe draft another good wide receiver, because I don't really think their wide receiver room is really competent. If they just add some key pieces, I feel like that team is going to be a sleeper, man. Like, people won't see them coming, man.
All the quarterbacks, the top 5 that were drafted last year, none of them had a really horrible game.
I mean, yeah.
That made you go, he's not going to work out. You know what I mean?
I feel like Trevor Lawrence could be excused.
I think what's his name for the Jets?
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Yeah, he had a bad game, but he didn't have a horrible game. He didn't have a bad game the next game, essentially, as bad. You know what I mean? So he got off the horse.
All these rookie quarterbacks had very decent years.
Yeah. Which,
Outside Justin Fields with the Bears.
Justin Fields did a great job this year for being a rookie. There's room for improvement, yes, but
you can't nitpick every single thing on the field.
Bro, starting in an NFL team, on an NFL team, and you're doing that good, you're doing great. All of them did great last year. We'll see what happens when teams can actually put things around them, and we'll see if they, they get shell shocked. You know what I mean? Some quarterbacks get shell shocked and they're never the same anymore. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that could happen at this point with, I think, those 5 guys, because everybody else is, doing a great job at, getting better and progressing.
I mean, for sure.
This is true.
Should we trash Zach Wilson for bury a baller?
You might as well.
No, well, Aruna's not here, so it's not my thing. I was just wondering if you wanted to throw any digs.
Nah.
He's not.
Sorry, what did I miss?
What's that?
Ryan, that Bay Area baller and myself have the same opinion of Jimmy, so we'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we all have the same evaluation of Jimmy as far as me, you, and baller.
What did Tiger want to say?
Yeah,
because I just had a few mic issues.
No, what do you want to say? Okay.
Oh, good. We hear you. So, what else we got going on? Anything anybody else wants to bring up and talk about?
What are your thoughts? That's in general. What are your guys' thoughts on Raheem Mostert trade to the Dolphins?
He wasn't traded to the Dolphins. He was a free agent. They didn't.
It was. I don't know. Raheem got injured, and people gave him death threats. You know what I mean? And it's like, how I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe when they did that. It's like, how the hell?
They're all crappy fantasy football.
How are you going to threaten somebody's life who got injured? You know what I'm saying? It's not like he was like
these fans, man. These idiots are pissed off. It's actually genuinely annoying. Like, man, these guys play their ass off in games, and this is how you repay the favor.
I think what it was is that the injury didn't look like anything happened. So the play that he got injured on, it didn't really look like much.
Well, what pisses me off is, are you Raheem Mostert? Are you in that moment experiencing the injury? No. So who are you to talk?
So I've had, Jaquaski Tart, he had turf toe.
Yeah, and people say, that's a really weak injury. That's not really gonna affect your future ahead. That's still an injury, bro. Like,
That's
Well,
what
no.
Patrick Willis to retire.
What's that?
Patrick Willis retired because of turf toe.
Yeah, turf toe is excruciating. Okay, Karkast.
yeah,
So imagine this is big toe, and this is your pinky, or not your pinky toe, but your ring toe or whatever, index toe. It feels like your big toe and your index toe are being ripped apart and being split down
It is painful.
in your foot. And as you step, it just like spreads it further apart. It feels like it. Like I played football with it, and I used to ball my toes up like this, and this is how I ran with my toes balled up like that,
Oh God,
because that's the way I could keep them together.
sounds painful.
Yeah, but when you're in high school and everything hurts, you know what I mean, and you've got the adrenaline going. Even under the threat of death, and nothing scares you. You know what I'm saying?
Injuries are just something that comes and goes in life. It's gotta something you gotta deal with. It's not like
You never thought that it'd
exactly.
do anything in the long run.
You play football or you wouldn't play basketball at this sport thinking that you would get injured or what. So it's something that happens in life.
Yeah. Karkast? Anything else you want to bring up?
I mean,
Did we scrape the barrel? Oh, something I wanted to talk about that we haven't really, the Cowboys player that was in the car when somebody got murdered.
Oh,
Yeah,
When was that?
Calvin Joseph.
Yeah.
what happened? I did not hear about that.
So he was wanted in not as a suspect, but as a person of interest in something. He was in a car with two other men, I believe, when they pulled up on somebody and shot somebody.
what the?
Oh,
Yeah. So to me, like, it just shows how you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with.
yeah. That I guess like how you develop, like you said, depends on like the people you have around you and like your group of like friends you have in life. Like so you may have some friends that lead you down like a bad path, and it's hard to get rid of them.
Damn,
And then you have,
DeAndre.
like, people who are actually good, and then I actually want to stick to in life.
DeAndre Hopkins is recruiting Deebo Samuel.
Oh God.
Actually,
Well, that ain't happening. That's just ain't happening.
Check his IG post.
So one thing I've heard that was good wisdom about something like that is like, if you got to look at your friends, and if they aren't on the path to where they want to be, like where you want to be, not like they have to be same interests, go on the thing, but if they're not trying, if you're trying to get somewhere and your friends aren't trying to get somewhere, you need to get new friends, because
Exactly.
all you're going to do is going to be
Fall
stuck.
down. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you're going to end up in some like
you're not going to be
shenanigans
able,
you never
they're
wanted
going to hold
be
you back in some way,
Okay.
shape, or form,
Mhm.
because they don't have the same
And then
vision
when you
that
need
you.
them the most, they're just gonna back the hell out.
So I think that's a real big thing that they need to understand. You're a football player now. You need to be hanging
Exactly.
around with football players who
Exactly.
worry about their diet, who worry about their training, who worry about this, because that's what keeps you a football player.
Yep.
Is you worrying about those such things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you stay around people that are always worrying about that stuff, not only do you have other people who are trying different things than you that can put you up on game, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But also, they're gonna, when you go to do something stupid, they're gonna be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be doing that. It's not gonna help your football career. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm saying. You need to just ditch. Look at what happened with Aaron Hernandez. You know what I mean? He got moved back to where he could be next to his buddies and continue that gang life.
Do you hear what happened with Vince Young?
No.
This like same thing happened with him. Like he started off as a really successful, quarterback. I believe he started out with the Titans, if I'm not wrong. And then I think towards his career, he just like sort of like not exactly forgot, but like he just left football on the side and like started partying, drinking, hanging out, and then he ended, I think, like $1.5 million in debt. So, like, you have a man who went from a star quarterback to $1.5 million in debt, all because he probably most likely hung out with the wrong type of people.
Can I bring up something quickly before I have to go?
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the Denzel Ward extension by the Cleveland Browns? He's now the highest paid cornerback in NFL.
100.5. My God.
Yeah, I think he deserves it.
Contract
Oh yeah.
negotiations up there.
Yeah, he deserves that, right, dude. He's great.
Yeah, 5-year, $100.5 million
Oh, yeah.
and 71.25 guaranteed. Insane.
That's great. He deserves all that.
That was so unexpected and highest paid NFL cornerback in history.
Yeah, that is insane.
Jeez.
Yep. And it's only up from here. That's the thing. I've heard some people talk that they need to like make the quarterbacks money not hit the cap.
Mm.
So you can still pay a quarterback and then not have to worry about not being able to put an offensive line around him. That with these cornerbacks, the wide receivers, defensive ends, all them getting paid like they are, we might see that happening at some point because it's going to be so hard to have some of these guys, like imagine you can't draft. You have to draft a quarterback every 4 years because the moment he becomes good, you have to get a new one.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Karkast.
He said he went to go eat dinner. He said he might be able to join back, but I gotta head off at 9. So.
All right, man.
I'll join back if this calling thing is still here.
I think we're gonna end it.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank everybody for joining in tonight.
Thanks
for having me, man.
Anybody want to plug their thing? I know Karkast's channel is in the description. The link to his channel is in the description.
Hey, go get No Border to like 100, man. He's at 60 almost, 3 away from 60. Go subscribe to his channel. Go like, go turn on that bell to get notified whenever he goes live. He puts out great content every week, so go subscribe to his channel.
This is my first live stream anyway.
Maruna and No Border.
Oh, is this your first live stream?
Oh yes, first live stream. Oh, this has been great talking.
Oh, well, thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. Having me in.
You got anything to say?
If they want to trade to the Packers, they better at least ask for their 2 firsts and their 2 seconds this year, at a minimum.
Yeah, I see that.
And everybody, have an average day.
You too.
Mediocre day.
Peace out.
Peace.